So the first Land Cruiser I had was a 1971 FJ40. It was completely stock. It had a PTO winch on the front. It's the first Toyota I ever owned and really got the bug for going out and exploring. We didn't call it overlanding back then, but my good friend Don, who's on the right there, he had an old Bronco, and so we would go and explore, and it was just a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Wish I would have kept it. Of course, it's worth a lot more now. This was a 75. This actually isn't the vehicle I owned, but it was about this color. The one I had was a 75. It had a Chevy 350 conversion, which was disappointing, to be honest. I think it had been installed incorrectly. It would constantly overheat. If the 350's conversions were set too close to the firewall, they would overheat. I next bought an FJ60. This is not the vehicle. The one I had was a lot more rusty, but it was that color, which I really like that color. And I only owned it for a little while because it was really rusty to the point where I had little kids and jagged rust on the rear fenders, which was really dangerous for them crawling in and out. So I got rid of that one fairly soon after I bought it. I replaced that 83 with this 82, which was all stock as well and was in good shape. This is the actual vehicle. We took it on several trips. This is a trip down to Central Oregon with the canoe. We pulled a little trailer. We camped. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, on the way home from that trip, we started having overheating problems, and I was able to nurse it all the way back home, but the damage was done. And unfortunately, even after rebuilding the head, there was some damage we suspect to the lower end of the engine, to the point where maybe even the weep holes needed for the oil to circulate had melted over somehow. But the fact that the thing got me and my family home safely is pretty amazing. I ended up selling it non-running. Unfortunately, it was a decent truck. It was in good shape as far as low rust, not a lot of rust on it. But unfortunately, yeah, that engine, after spending about a year doing different things, finally had to let it go. Next vehicle I bought, this is a 92 FJ80, and it was a great vehicle. Again, totally stock. Just took it where I wanted to. And this is a picture going over a pass in the winter in Oregon, and just handled amazing in snow, and was a great vehicle. Always loved the drop-down tailgate. Always made a great place to stop to have lunch or to use as a desk or a table. I sold the FJ80 almost 10 years ago and finally got this LX470.
It's get philosophical for me. Why do they call it a bill when owe something? You can use bills to pay bills. You can use bills to pay bills.
This is a 2001 Lexus LX470, same as the Land Cruiser 100 series. Picked it up from a guy locally, and it's not my favorite color. I would have preferred almost any other color, but this is what I could find at a decent price. And this one was fairly well maintained by a guy that knew a lot about Land Cruisers. He did timing belt, water pump. The front seats have been recovered. The tires are Cooper all-terrain tires, and they're in good shape. At some point, somebody did replace the stock stereo system, so it has a little bit of an upgrade there, although it's pretty old. Probably will eventually replace that. But it had WeatherTech mats throughout, front, middle, rear. And other than the carpet, which you can see in some of these pictures as being sort of dingy on the sides, it's actually in decent shape. So got 217,000 miles on it when I bought it. And the AHC, the active height control, works well. And I don't really have any major issues with it. It's got a typical driveline clunk, which I'm working on. And probably I'll have to do a steering rack replacement at some point down the line. But as far as rust goes, there's hardly any rust on it. There's a few little dings that are a little bit rusty, surface rust, but the frame itself is in excellent condition. Got a lot of big plans for it, and it'll look different really soon. So keep on watching.